Hey, to all my brothers and sisters tuning in for this episode. What I will talk about today is the hard reality we live in. My aim is not to make you feel anything but informed after this episode. I just want you to have more information and knowledge and insight about the financial structure we are all living in today. And how alarming it is because it's literally affecting everything around us in all segments of our life. The more information we have regarding the subject, the more power we all possess as individuals and a collective, so we can then act on the information we all have accumulated. Our words hold value, but our actions can't be measured with the value that our words hold. The more we spread the information we have discovered, particularly in ways where it affects everyone on this planet, the bigger the crowd becomes that can collectively change the trajectory of where things will go. Sadly, the truth is that hundreds of millions of people across the globe worldwide has fallen into poverty because of the measures that has been in place for such a long time. COVID is just another example of how they were able to manipulate the majority of all humankind and install fear throughout the world. A new world order agenda has been in place for longer than many of us can even bear to imagine. They are making it sound like it's a sympathetic plan, but when you read into the fine print of the whole thing, you will discover that this idea will be paid by all of us, the citizens. They want us to give up our basic rights for the sake of the public health. We will be demanded to give up our wealth in favor of poverty reduction, while they still get to keep their wealth and power and gain even more of it. This is sadly not a conspiracy theory. All of this information is out there for you to see, and you can read for yourself at different websites about this agenda. I would like to encourage the ones who are interested in this topic to check out my website, iamangel.se. Go to the blog section and look under documentaries. There I have posted links and documentaries that I would recommend you to watch to widen your perspective, so you can then create your own personal perspective on this subject. I have posted the link there to two different documentaries. One is called Monopoly and the other one is called Thrive. I highly recommend you to watch these ones, as well as all the other ones, of course. But Monopoly and Thrive has been a big inspiration for this episode. I know that the bigger the crowd becomes of us to spread this information and becomes aware of it, the more of us can impact to a change within the system. Although the biggest financial crisis may not have affected you personally just yet, it might only be a matter of time before the ripple effects of the consequences also reaches you and your loved ones. We can limit the damage if we are properly and objectively informed about our current situation and what goes on behind the scenes at this moment, as well as what has been going on for centuries that actually led up to all of this very moment. This plan has been going on for generations and decades, and it has slowly unfolded in front of us without the majority of us actually being able to pay attention towards it. They have done it so well and packaged everything in so nicely, while they've been selling all of this to us like this whole setup has been for the best of us. The UN and the president and founder of World Economic Forum, which is Klaus Schwab, and in his book, The Great Reset, he describes in detail the plans of his organization. The pandemic represents a rare but narrow window of opportunity to reflect and reimagine a reset of our world. That's to quote Klaus Schwab. In Schwab's idea of building back better, our old society should be exchanged for a new one, where no one owns anything. Countries give up their sovereignty to an all-encompassing world government, in which people own nothing, but work for the state in exchange for their housing, healthcare, and all their basic needs. Because all of this is necessary, according to the World Economic Forum, because our modern consumer society, which the elite themselves has imposed on us, can't keep going on as it is. It's no longer sustainable. There has been so many leaders before us trying to bring the reality and truth to the rest of the world. But sadly, not too many of us has listened. It's less than a handful of corporations that owns and dominate every aspect of our life. With everything from the breakfast that you have on the table each morning to the mattress you sleep on at night, including everything, literally everything else that we do. Things that we put on our skin, the water we drink, technology devices, the list is so long. This might actually seem like an exaggeration, but sadly it's not. It's actually the harsh truth. They have been and still are doing it well as they hide behind various of the different corporations. It can appear to be many different competing brands, but the truth is that they all come from the factories of a small number of corporations that together have monopoly on the industry. I'm going to give you an example that he talks about in Monopoly. PepsiCo, that is a parent company of many of the most popular soft drinks and snacks in the world. And PepsiCo is just one of many companies that is a parent company towards other companies underneath it. You can easily access and verify all this information on the websites of the different brands or on sites like Wikipedia. The truth is there for you to see, if you have the interest to dive into it and discover what goes on behind the scenes. On websites like Yahoo Finance, you can find detailed company information, including who the largest shareholders of these companies are. Companies of a certain size is usually publicly traded and have a board where the largest shareholders call the shots. Most often within all these bigger brands and companies, the majority of the shares are held by institutional investors. That means that it includes investment companies, mutual funds, insurance companies, banks, and in some cases, even governments. An institutional investor or organization means, for example, a bank or insurance company that invest in something. There is 10 investors that is most commonly to frequently show up in owning the shares in companies across the globe. The top 3 investors is Vanguard, BlackRock, and State Street Corporation. And they together own more shares than the remaining 7. BlackRock and Vanguard and State Street and Berkshire Hathaway are the 4 largest investment companies in the world. A lot of the competitors like Cola and Fanta is owned by the same company. This goes across every aspect, like Apple and Android, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, Apple versus Microsoft, Sony versus IBM. Most of the technology and flight airlines and hotel chains and Airbnb and mining companies, the largest agriculture industries, Monsanto versus Bayer, textile companies, clothes, electrical appliances, oil, tobacco products, pharmaceutical industries, and the scientific institute that produces the medicine. Amazon, payment methods to pay for all their products. Insurance companies, banks, telephone companies, restaurant chains, cosmetic brands, and so on. The list is so long. These are all owned by the same institutional investors: BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. All of these institutional investors own each other's shares, and together they form an immense network that we can't compare to a pyramid. The smaller institutional investors are owned by larger institutional investors. At the top of the pyramid, two companies end up, and that is BlackRock and Vanguard. By 2028, it has been foreseen that these two companies will own almost everything on Earth. BlackRock and Vanguard and State Street combined are the largest shareholders in 88% of S&P 500 companies. Imagine how much power these so-called investors have over these companies and what they can control if a company doesn't choose to apply to what they want them to. BlackRock even loans money to the federal bank and is also their principal advisor and the developer of the computer system that the federal bank uses. If you dig a little bit deeper, you will see that the largest shareholders of BlackRock is Vanguard. Vanguard in itself has a unique structure that makes it possible to see who its shareholders or clients are. But the elite of Vanguard doesn't want anyone to know that they are the owners of the most companies of the world. A big issue that we have today is that many of us who don't live in the States actually believe that what happens in the state doesn't happen in the rest of the world. And this is simply not true. The power they have in the United States, they also have across the globe. On Friday, October 18, 2019, months before the pandemic was declared, a meeting was held at the Pierre Hotel in New York City for a selected group of about 130 very important guests. This included politicians and the world's most respected medics and pharmacists. The purpose of the meeting was to simulate the possible scenarios of an event of a global pandemic. For this simulation, a coronavirus was used as an example. The simulation covered in detail how the coronavirus would develop and how they could only control this through intensive collaboration of entire industries, governments, and government agencies. This was called 201 and was organized by none other than the World Economic Forum top chef, Klaus Schwab. The elite have everything at their disposal to make us believe that there was a pandemic, or even to actually just create one. The German Robert Koch Institute, which, like every national health institute in the world, is closely linked to the WHO, which is funded by Bill Gates, the World Health Organization, created a similar simulation 2012, and this simulation assumed a coronavirus. It even assumed that in Southeast Asia food market, a coronavirus would spread from an animal to human. Listen, a new world order or an all-encompassing world government is the only way for a small elite to retain its power over an increased world population. Only through fear and media manipulations can they maintain their grip on all of us. They are installing fear in us in so many different ways and aspects that we can't even dare or bear to imagine. We have families like the Rothschild, DuPont family, Rockefeller, the Bush family, Morgan family, JP Morgan, these are all families that hide behind Vanguard. These families also belong to the 1% of the richest in the world. They are worth more than 99% of the world population. Vanguard is in the hands of the richest people on earth. They have never ever been broke. They have belonged to royal bloodlines. They own the banking system. They have never lost their power. Certain families has been in control for longer than any one of us can imagine. I don't even think that people would believe the things that goes on, because it can all sound like a movie scene, and it can all seem so bizarre once you actually discover all of this. The one thing that I asked myself was, why? Who would do such a thing? And the answer always leads up to the same thing: money and power. John D. Rockefeller founded the General Education Board at 1903, and he said, I quote, "I don't want a nation of thinkers, I want a nation of workers." We are all modern slaves trapped in the system they created, and most of us are trapped because of fear. I am not sure how many of you out there are aware of how our banking system works, but I would like to be the one to inform you if you didn't know. Let me share with you what I have learned so far, because everything I thought I knew about our banking system or financial system was simply not true. I am well aware that not many of us have the knowledge or even the curiosity to ask questions about how the system works. We just do as everyone else because this is what we believe is normal. This is what we've been taught from the powerful people who are in charge of these various systems, that they actually are the only ones who benefits from it. From the moment you seek a loan and get approved, if they approve you, they type these digits into a computer and put the money in your account. From that day, you start paying interest on money that has not and does not exist. And you probably even pay a fee for even being able to apply for the loan. Most banks have as much as 9 times of their money loaned out as they have reserved in their vaults. This is only possible because of a thing called fractional reserved lending. The way this works is that the Federal Reserve or the central bank in any country is legally allowed to determine the amount of that bank that they must have on reserve. In the US, this amount is 10%. So let me give you an example. If you deposit $10,000 in the bank, 10% of that goes into the vault, while the other 90% goes into circulation. Which means that the bank loans out the rest of your money that you deposited to someone else and charges an interest and a fee on it each month. So your money goes into circulation between different people and becomes a big profit for the bank. All the fees and interests they make, while you stay stuck with a small percentage of your money that you deposited to save in the bank. The banking system creates money off of your money. Back in the days, we used to have gold backing up our money. Today, money is literally just paper being printed or digits being pushed on a computer. It is a created illusion around money that controls our whole world, and a reason why so many people suffer while plenty live in abundance. The bankers can make up money out of nothing, while the rest of the world has to work hard just to earn it. The banking system has been created so the majority of the people has to work just to pay off their loans with all the interest and fees. G. Edward Griffin said, I quote, Central banks are banking cartels which have gone into partnerships with the respective governments in the countries where they operate. It's an exchange between the political system and banking system. The banking system has this legal power to print money every single time the governments need it, which means that they can practically do whatever they want. And we, the population, are the ones paying for all the politicians' debts, plus entrance to the bankers through something called income tax. The financial elite are feeding on us, and they don't like it when people actually blow their cover. We all need to open our eyes to what is actually going on globally around the world to be able to take our power back as people and stop being slaves to a system that is not built nor created for us. There are so many ideas that they feed us with and have placed in our heads so we can follow the stream like sheep and not question anything. The Federal Reserve is a privately owned corporation with monopoly of creating money, but without any accountability. And they are backed up by the government with a monopoly on force. Many of these big organizations hide behind private funds and non-profit organizations. The non-profits, also called foundations, are organizations that rely on donations. They never have to publish from who they receive donations, and they can invest that money in whatever they want and do not have to pay taxes on their profits as long as these profits are reinvested on other projects that they are involved in. Non-profits can move hundreds of millions of dollars from invisible investors. They hide behind the scenes as much as possible. The Gates Foundation, which is owned on paper by Bill Gates, is the biggest investor in pharmaceutical industries. 90% of the Gates Foundation is owned by Vanguard and BlackRock. They are the biggest shareholders. They are the largest shareholders in many national and international companies within several fields. They are the biggest shareholders towards the companies that owns the other smaller companies. Please do your own research and dive into the history of these foundations. Henry Ford once said, "It is well enough that people of the nation do not understand our banking and monetary system. For if they did, I believe there would be a revolution before tomorrow morning. Under this fractional reserve scheme, we are inevitably become debt slaves to a ruling class financial elite. Not because they are better, smarter, or more intelligent, but because they have rigged the system to benefit themselves at the expense of most people around the planet. They control our media, and with such a big majority of the population watching the news, imagine what they feed you with on a daily basis." I saw this thing with Denzel, where he got interviewed, and his response was to, when you watch the news, you are misinformed. And when you don't watch the news, you are uninformed. So what do one do? Me, myself, personally, I don't watch the news because I'm well aware of the negative effect it has on us. The fear and the worry that they install in us with a purpose and agenda behind it. The elite are more aware of who and what we are. They know more about us than we do as individuals. I am one of many who are trying to spread the word and message to remind you and open your eyes to the things we can't close our eyes for any longer. The various news media outlets does not produce the media themselves. Rather, they use information and images from news agencies, and these companies are anything but independent. They are feeding us their news on a daily basis worldwide. The main journalists and editors who work at our media or at these news organizations are affiliated with important journalistic organizations such as the European Journalism Centre. These are one of the largest founders of media-related projects across Europe. They train journalists, produce study materials, and give internships, and works closely with the largest corporations such as Google and Facebook. For journalistic analysis and opinion, all the major media outlets in the world use Project Syndicate, the most powerful organization within its field. It supplies the 506 most important media outlets in 156 countries. As a result of this, the global media is often synchronized in its reporting. COVID is a great example of this. Social media and the so-called conspiracy theorists is a huge threat to them and their media outlets. This is one of the ways they mind control the majority of the population worldwide. Listen to me, it hasn't been science. It's been psychological manipulations, gaslighting, propaganda, and lies that we all have been following that has been indoctrinated in us for generations. It started with one party controlling the media, one party controlling the message, one party controlling what is truth, one party censoring speech and silencing oppositions, one party dividing citizens into us and them, and calling their supporters to harass them. It started when good people turned the blind eye and let it all happen. A conspiracy theorist is a term used to discredit someone who speaks things you can't bear to look at. Because if they were true, it would reveal a darkness in the world you're simply not ready to accept. The elite controls every aspect in our life, everything from the information we receive that depends on unimaginable coordination, collaboration to keep all the different industries on Earth connected to each other in order to ensure they all work in the elite's interest. With all this being said, I can only hope that it will reach you to reduce the ever-increasing distance between us. We have to stop segregating and with segregation. Only when we are divided can the elite retain its power over us. The greatest fear of the elite is that we all will realize what is really going on Earth and come together. There is this beautiful documentary on Netflix called Winter War. And when I saw that one, it gave me hope and it showed me just how much we can do when we all come together and go against what's not right. They will try to censor us and divide us and segregate us and install fear in us and use brute force against us who choose to rise up. We can't allow this to happen because then a new world will be built on the ashes of what we once knew. A new society. We will own nothing, not even a home of our own. The elite has an agenda that will play out in full by 2030, the new world order. Everything you own will be theirs. For this to happen, a devastating economic crisis is necessary. Instead of a great reset for a new world order, we can all participate and come together and create a great awakening. We can all together create a world where no one has to go hungry, where we can live in a sustainable way in coherence with our beloved Mother Earth. We have to take care of our Mother Earth and cherish everything she gives us, as she gives us literally everything we need to thrive. We don't need many of the industries that exist today. Our planet provides us with all that we need. We can use her resources in a sustainable, friendly way. We can all live in freedom with one another and in coherence with our nature. We don't need money on this earth to thrive or survive. We can literally live off of our earth. There is so many smart people out there who has been before us and who exist today. We can be the change this world seeks. It starts with us. There is free energy that can provide us with all the electricity we need. Our Earth provides clean air and water once we stop polluting. We're living in an old-fashioned way that doesn't benefit no earthling nor our Earth. And once we open up our eyes and educate ourselves, we see everything for what it is, and just how rich we are living on this earth, and how this earth is paradise and heaven. I have a dream, and my dream is for everyone to be free and have food on their table and clothes, and live with good hygiene and all of this stuff. This should be a human right. We need to create communities where money and segregation, hate, greed, and power doesn't exist. I want to create a community, a land for the people. I want to create a world for the people. I want to create an island that will show that we can do better as long as we come together. I want to create an island of healing, love, and light, where all the experience of life is offered. I don't believe that certain experiences is for a certain crowd. Every one of us should be able to enjoy everything that life has to offer. I have been inspired by people such as Jack Fresco, Nassim Haramein, Joe Dispenza, just to name a few. We can create and imagine a new world together. When I share my vision with some people, they laugh and they say it can never be done. What they don't understand is that I have planted a seed in their mind. The more of us who can see a future like this, the quicker we can create this world wide. We are so powerful when we come together. You are a limitless being, and the limits that you have are the ones that you create. We are limitless, so please dream big. The elite has always kept us in ignorance about the discoveries of the geniuses such as Tesla, who was far advanced in his field of clean, free energy. Another man named Dr. Rife, he used radio waves to cure at least 16 terminal cancer patients. 1924, the first car that was ranked with water. Electrical cars are not a new intervention. It's been done years ago. We just don't know about it for obvious reasons. Henry Ford made a car out of bioplastic that provided stronger than steel. Everything that has been done that exists in this world today started off with someone dreaming or imagining it. The elite has hidden countless of such techniques from us for generations, for the obvious reasons of these smart people with their solutions to the world form a threat to their monopolies in every industry. I read about a collaboration that Romeo Miller is doing with a man called Richard Patterson. They are on the same path to create 100% green, clean energy within vehicles. I loved to read this article, and I hope this inspires so many more people with money to do the same. I know I will join this team once I have the opportunity to do so. I choose to be a part of the change for a better future for all. As long as they keep us feeling bad and keep us sick and segregated from one another, they will keep possessing much more power. When they keep us sick mentally or physically and keep us segregated, they win. We have to go through the dark to enter the light. We have to all recognize what the real problem is in our society. We have to undertake this journey together and help each other out when any of us falls. We are the 99%. We can't be afraid anymore. I believe in freedom for us all. This is not an idealistical daydream. It's all up to all of us to create this world we would like to live in together. Namaste.